Nigeria today is not a democratic country. Let's stop telling ourselves lies. If you look at all the tenets, look at all the yardstick of measuring democracy, it doesn't exist here. Simple definition, democracy is government of the people, by the people, for the people. Today, the government we have is not of the people. It's not by the people because the people didn't vote. It wasn't their votes. I'm not just talking about presidency. Across the line, look at what happened in Edo. Can you call that democracy? It is not vote of the people. And it's not for the people. I've just told you that I went to an IDP camp where we have thousands of people, no primary health care. They were begging me to have one nurse, which I said I must make sure. I mean, they don't even have primary school, which again I told them I will make sure it happens. So what are you doing for a country that just spent 21 billion naira to renovate a house for the vice president, which is not, hasn't packed in, is not living there. And you cannot even have a primary school for kids who are going to be leaders of Nigeria tomorrow. For people who pass through the same process, to deny these kids this opportunity today. So it is not a democratic country. So it's not for the people. You can't have a democracy without a functional and effective legislature, which you know we don't have today. You can't have a democracy without, again, an independent judiciary that fights for the common person. I can go on and on. In a democracy, it is clear. There's guidelines. Even when you set for people vying for election, like in Nigerian case, you have to talk about people must be qualified. They must have primary school, secondary school, university, and must attain certain age. Charles, that is not happening today. People are with unverified, forged certificates all over the place, criminal records and everything, and they're in charge. So you cannot say that. It is, yes, maybe we're striving to be a democratic country, but the way we are today is not. Look at what happened in Rivers that you mentioned. Can you call that democracy?
I'm going to come to Rivers State.
Yes.
Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything and all things politics, economy, and development in Nigeria and around the world. That was the former governor of Anambra State and the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in 2023 presidential election, Peter Obi, bombing literally President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and all others who are masquerading as Democrats and who are going about saying that Nigeria is a democracy, that Nigeria is not a democracy, that people who are running the country are people with unverified certificates. That is what we're going to talk about in this video, and we are going to show point by point whether there is any point that Peter Obi made in the video you watch that you can say he was not right. That is what we're going to show in this video. We're going to look at what he said, the points he made to buttress the fact that Nigeria is not a democracy and that people with unverified certificates are in charge of Nigeria. That is what we're going to do right away. Thank you and welcome on board. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. Now, the person that conducted the interview was Charles Aniogolo of Arise TV. And the Peter Obi went on to show him proof that there is no democracy in Nigeria. Let us look at the number one proof that Peter Obi gave to show that there is no democracy. Nigeria is not a democracy. Number one, Peter Obi gave elementary definition of democracy, that democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Now, when you look at, and he tried to interpret that definition, and so that you see that today you cannot say that Nigeria is a democracy. Now, he said today the government that we have is not of the people. So it is not the people that put them there. Most of them who are parading themselves as government officials, it was not the people that put them there. And it's not by the people. By the people means that it was by the vote of the people that they got there. Peter made it clear there that it wasn't the people that voted for Bola Ahmed Tinubu and several other people now parading themselves as leaders in Nigeria. It wasn't people of Nigeria that voted for them. That the election that brought them in was flawed. It was rigged. Across board. Particularly that would be of concern to Peter Obi was the presidential election. Even the European Union Observer Group said they didn't know how INEC tabulated the result, how they gathered the result and gave it to Tinubu. And look at it. Tinubu himself was the president that was rejected by Nigerians. Majority of Nigerian voters rejected Bola Ahmed Tinubu and they didn't want him to be their president. Look at the vote that INEC gave to Tinubu. INEC gave Tinubu 8.7 million votes, Atiku 6.9 million votes, Peter Obi 6.1 million votes, Rabi Musa Kwankwaso 1.4 million votes. Now, if you add Atiku's vote, Peter Obi's vote, and Rabi Musa Kwankwaso's vote, you see that majority of Nigerians rejected Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with over almost 15 million votes was against his becoming president of Nigeria. But that is not the issue. Because that is also important, but it's not the main issue in this discourse right now. But the point is that the election was not free and fair. INEC's deliberate switching off of the electronic transmission of the result was where the rigging of the election started. And Peter Obi was emphatic about that. And it wasn't only that. There was massive reports of electoral haste. So the people that are there now, raising so that they represent the people, they were not actually elected by the people. That was when Tinubu was declared in the middle of the night, when Nigerians were asleep. When they woke up in the morning, it was like Nigeria was like a graveyard. Nobody celebrated. Nobody can show any video of Nigerians in a crowd rejoicing like what happened when Buhari emerged in 2015, where people even died celebrating that the victory of Buhari. In the case of Tinubu, it was mourning all over Nigeria, and a clear indication that he was not put there by the people. So Peter Obi is right in that. So we have taken care of that, number one, as from the point that Peter Obi made in the video you watch. And he also, let us also, before we close that, he made reference to look at what happened in Edo. He said, will you call that a democracy? Because it is not the people that put the Edo governor there. Because we all had a story of what happened in Edo State election, governorship election. And then he also made reference to the fact that the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu has spent 21 billion naira renovating accommodation for the vice president, and he hasn't even moved there. Meanwhile, several thousands of Nigerians, millions of Nigerians, primary school children, they don't have place to school in IDP's camp, even those who are not in IDP's camp. That is why you have in Nigeria today, you have over 20 million out of school children, highest anywhere in the world. So you can take it that Peter Obi was right on that issue, that Nigeria is not a democracy. The people who are in charge were not put there by the people. Now, the number 2 point he made mention was that you said that in a democracy, you can't have a democracy without a functional legislation. Now, the legislation that we have in Nigeria, like he rightly pointed out, cannot be said to be a reflection of the Nigerian people. And you can see it by their handiwork. The job of the legislature is to put the executive in check. But that responsibility had been thrown to the dogs. There is nothing like oversight. There is nothing like holding the government, the executive, accountable. So what you have, which most Nigerians can confirm, is a rubber stamp. So you don't have a functional legislation. A functional legislature that is there for the people of Nigeria. What you have are people who are there only for their own interest and for the interest of the presidency. They are not for the Nigerian people. So when you don't have checks and balances, when checks and balances does not exist, that is not a democracy. You can see that. Look at what happened in Rivers State of emergency. Section 305 gave guideline on how to go about the state of emergency. Instead of following those guidelines, the National Assembly jettisoned it and followed the route that will favor them and their paymaster. What did they do? Instead of ensuring that 2/3 is gotten by vote, they resorted to nays and yeas. And the nays had it. That's not how it's done. It was an indication that we don't have a functional legislature. To be a legislature is not just when the president brings budget, you pass it, and you say you are a legislature. No, that's not your job. That's not your only job. It's to bring him to account. The same way the Congress used to bring President Donald Trump of America to account in so many ways. When President Bola Ahmed Tinubu bought jets from France, the National Assembly, when that story was broken by Sahara reporters, they did nothing about it. They didn't care. As far as they're concerned, it's not their money. The president can as well buy as many jets as he like. So Peter Obi was right on that. You can't have a democracy without a functional legislature. Perfect. Now let us look at the number 3 point he made to show that we don't have democracy in Nigeria. He said that you can't have democracy without independent judicial that will fight for the common person. The judiciary we have today is no longer believed and perceived by Nigerians to be independent. That was why the former president of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, lamented just a few days ago that no investor, no foreign investor will bring his money to Nigeria. In a country where people direct, one man directs, that I'm using the word of Goodluck Jonathan, one man direct judges what to deliver as judgment. And you know where Goodluck was going and what he was saying. So when you don't have independent judiciary, you don't have democracy. Today, most Nigerians have lost faith in the judiciary. And Peter Obi is a typical example of the finest of our judiciary. Remember that Peter Obi, as governor, was restored by the Supreme Court of Nigeria without spending a dime. Today, nobody gets judgment without people raising eyebrow. Peter Obi didn't spend a dime. Supreme Court restored him. Peter Obi contested with a little known Abga and defeated the behemoth at the time, PDP. even PDP, at least there was independent judiciary that made a man from Abga to defeat a PDP governor at the Supreme Court of Nigeria. That is not possible today. That is not possible today. So when you have that kind of situation, and also don't forget that Peter Obi was impeached by the PDP-dominated Anambra State House of Assembly, and it was the Supreme Court that restored him back. Is that possible today? Is that possible now? We can debate it. So Peter Obi was right in his assertion that you can't have democracy without an independent judiciary that fight for the common man. We used to say that the judiciary is the last hope of the common man. Now, common man have no hope in Nigeria anymore. So he is right. He was right in that assertion that democracy cannot be said to exist without an independent judiciary. And then number 4, he talked about that democracy is a process that is based on guidelines. Guidelines, and those guidelines must be obeyed. Let me show you a typical example that they don't follow guideline, and that is why what we have cannot be described as democracy. Look at the Senate President Akpabio. Akpabio contested for President of Nigeria. He bought form of APC as a presidential candidate. After he failed in his presidential bid, he went back, which was against the Electoral Act and everything. He went back and picked senatorial form. Ahmad Lawal, who was the then Senate President, failed in the APC presidential nomination process. He ran back and collected the ticket for Senate. Even Rochas Okorocha, the former governor of Imo State, was amazed. He was asking at the valedictory session, he was asking Ahmad Lawan, which magic did you perform? All of us contested for president. Before we know it, you have gotten form. Please, you will teach us how to play this, how to play this kind of politics. That was a violation of democratic guidelines. And the country is paying a price for allowing that to happen. Because today we are saying we have a rubber stamp. If Akpabio was stopped when he violated that process of going back to contest for senatorial ticket after contesting for president, we wouldn't have been where we are today, perhaps. Then the Peter Obi talked about the fact that in a democracy, the guidelines require that there are qualifications too. You must have your primary school, secondary school, university education. But today what we have are people with unverified certificates in violation of the guidelines that determines democracy for what it is. A typical example is even President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In 1999, when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was contesting for governor of Lagos State, he had his primary school, secondary school, and university. But what happened in 2023? When he was about to contest, when they demanded his certificate, he said he didn't attend primary again. He didn't attend secondary school. He only attended university. Where is that done anywhere in the world? That was enough to have stopped him. But did they stop him? No. This is because Nigeria is not a democracy. And I like the way Peter Obi concluded it. He concluded it by saying that Nigeria can be said to be striving to be a democracy, but not a democratic nation. Nigeria can be said to be striving to be a democratic country, But right now, what we have is not democracy. And he made reference to what happened in Rivers State. What can you fault in all the 4 points he made that I have broken down for you? What can you fault in Peter Obi's assertion in that interview that he used in bombing Bola Ahmed Tinubu, literally, I mean, in the state of the nation and the state of our democracy? Whatever is your position on this matter, let's hear from you at the comment section. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.